God is a moral monster because he killed people in the Old Testament.
Alright, so I made a video addressing basically the straw man here of how he's going between the killing versus murder definitions instead of, I don't know, the actual argument and what the actual point of the argument is and how weak and surface level that is. And you guys can go check that out if you want. But I wanted to address very simply this point of, is God a moral monster for killing people in the Old Testament? Yes. Yes, he is. And we can do that not by giving, quote unquote, what moral standard can we compare to God to judge him, blah, blah, his own. We can do it straight up with his own. When he gives a perfect and moral law, like the Bible claims, and he is perfect and moral, as the Bible claims, he cannot go against his own law. And yet we see him do it all the time. So when he gives laws like, hey, don't kill innocents, and then he gives laws like, or orders to his army in like 1 Samuel 15:3 when he says, hey, go kill those people, the men, the women, the children, the infants, and the animals. That is God breaking his own law. When God gives a law that says that a child shall not be killed for the sins of the parents and vice versa, and then he himself passes a judgment killing an infant for the sins of the father, and then also cursing innocents, people who did not do the crime, with rape because that same person did the same crime that he said he forgave and put away, that is something that should make us all look and say, why are you acting so contradictory? Why are you being so hypocritical, God? Why are you failing your own morals? Why are you failing at your own perfect law? And no, it is not perfect or just when it is rules for thee, not rules for me. That is might makes right. That is divine command theory, and that is not compatible with justice. So is God a moral monster for killing people in the Old Testament? It depends. It depends on what he killed them for. Look, if you want to go with the stupid, ridiculous claim that has no bearing in history of how these people groups were so terrible and eating their children and sacrificing them and all that stuff to other gods, okay, fine. Why didn't God kill the people who were doing the crimes? Why did he also give commands to kill the children? Why did he allow his people to oppress innocents and victims and casualties of war? Why did God keep going against his own moral law so many times and breaking it so many times if he is supposed to also be moral and good? And then we can even look at the moral and good law that God gave out and see contradictions and flaws even within that. It allows things like slavery. Slavery. How are we going to say that that is compatible with a good, justice, and perfect being and a good, perfect, and justice law? We can't. So, yes, God is a moral monster all through, especially in the Old Testament, but in the whole book in context. So, I don't know. Maybe before people like this guy go on and say, oh, people don't know what they're talking about because, and then not even address the argument. Sorry, you're going to invite people that actually have read the book and actually have given this more than surface level thought. And we're going to call it out. So if you want to debunk atheist arguments, I don't know, maybe actually try to address the argument.